Welcome to the Sock Drawer Knitting Podcast with your host, James the Sock Knitting Guy. Hey everybody, I am James the Sock Knitting Guy, and welcome to episode 5 of the Sock Drawer Knitting Podcast. How y'all doing? It's been more than 2 weeks since we've last talked, man, and what a couple of weeks it's been. Oh man, I got a lot of stuff to get through today. Well, maybe not as much as I think, but we're just going to catch you up on some stuff, how my last couple of weeks has been going. I think it's been like 2.5 weeks since my last episode because life, man, it just has a way of sometimes kicking you when you feel down, I felt like I was getting into a groove, like I was on a knitting roll. And then for whatever reason, my brain just kind of turned into a bunch of scrambled eggs. And I couldn't focus or concentrate on much of anything. I still knit every single day. But rather than completing a bunch of projects, my brain was like, try this pattern, try that pattern, try those patterns. So a lot of my time the last couple of weeks has been spent not finishing anything, but rather trying new things and not liking them. So it's just been one of those crazy couple of weeks where just nothing seems to click. I'm sure as a creative person, you can understand what I mean when it just doesn't seem to be flowing as well as it should, but maybe it was the clocks going forward or whatever, the weather change, I don't know. But here we are, we're back with episode 5, finally, of the Sock Drawer Knitting Podcast. It is Wednesday, I believe April 2nd, as I'm recording this. Yes, Wednesday, April 2nd. It's going to go up on Thursday, April 3rd, because it is late at night, and I just do not have the energy to sit and edit and process and upload everything to YouTube Wednesday night. So I'm going to do it Thursday after work, because I spent a lot of the day today building a new couch. We got a new couch. Our old couch, man, it's like 20 years old. And so we decided it was time to invest in a new couch. And I always wanted a beautiful, big, sectional sofa. So that's what we bought. So it came today in like these 8 huge boxes. We got it from Wayfair. It was on sale. It was a really good deal. I'll put up a picture of it here. But it came in 8 huge boxes. And the FedEx lady that delivered it, she was really small. So I told her to just, unload it in the driveway, and then me and Jennifer, my wife, we would, load everything upstairs ourselves and whatever. So anyways, it got delivered this morning. We pushed the 8 boxes sort of up the stairs, just sort of rolled them up the stairs. And then it took about 2 to 3 hours for myself to unpack everything and build the couch. But the end result was definitely worth it, and I got my exercise today. So I'm feeling really tired now, so I don't have the energy to just sort of sit in front of my computer and upload and edit, and you know the drill. But you're going to get a podcast this week of the Sock Drawer. That's exciting. You might even get another one this weekend, because I got stuff coming that I want to talk about. But let's get into what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you I did complete one sock since we last talked 2.5 weeks ago. And I'll show you. I was excited about this. This is the Van Gogh Starry Night sock that I completed. I absolutely love how it turned out. I got the the heel is like a gold yarn from just Hobie yarn. I did the heel flap and the gusset on this one. I didn't mess around with afterthought heels or shadow wrap heels or anything like that. Just a straight heel flap and gusset. I did it in gold because the idea is that it sort of adds, like Starry Night obviously is a painting, and I thought the gold could represent the frame around the painting, And I was going to do it for the cuff and for the toe, but I thought, that might be just a little too much. So I think the gold accent on the heel really makes these colors pop, really makes the socks pop. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. Everything looks great. You know, and I don't know if it was second sock syndrome or not. Usually I don't suffer from second sock syndrome where you knit one sock and then you, for whatever reason, just bleh on the second sock, you know. And I get that. I understand. But I don't usually suffer from that. But these last couple of weeks, like I said, my brain has been scrambled everywhere. And I did cast on the second sock, but I'm only like to about here. Like I do cuff down. So I'm only to about here. So I still got a long ways to go. And these are on 2.75 millimeter needles. But I was really happy. This is my first Opal yarn sock. Feels really nice on my foot, so I'm really happy with that. I'm really happy with Opal yarn. I'll have more to talk about with Opal here in a second. But yeah, this is all I've done in the last 2.5 weeks. I guess you can say my last 2.5 weeks were spent swatching because I swatched a lot of different patterns. None of them I really liked, or at least they didn't seem to fit the yarn, or I don't know what it was. It was just something in my head, I just wasn't feeling the groove, you know? And you know what? Sometimes that happens. It happens in life. It happens in crafting. It just happens. And sometimes you can't beat yourself up about those things, you know? It's very easy to, you know, feel self-pity and self-doubt and, oh, woe is me. I didn't get as much done as these other people on social media. You know what? The hell with social media. Social media is a fantasy. It is a lie. I mean, come on now. I mean, do you think everybody's life is as perfect as it seems on social media? It's not. And so, but sometimes, anyways, that's all to say. Sometimes we feel that we don't, you know, we didn't accomplish as much as other people. We compare ourselves to other people. I don't like to do that, you know? And so for me, the last 2.5 weeks have just been one of those things where it's just didn't click, and I'm okay with that. You know, I now know what patterns I don't want to knit, so that's something. Anyways, Opal socks, Starry Night, done in the can. Hopefully I'll have a second one done soon. But anyways, I guess I should talk about what I'm wearing today. You get those knitting podcasts and people are like, oh, I'm wearing this petite knits Peruvian wool sweater. No, you know, I'm wearing a Where the Wild Things Are t-shirt because, yeah, baby, I'm just a big kid and I don't knit sweaters, so, but I do knit hats sometimes. This is a hat I knit probably a couple years ago. Acrylic yarn from Michaels. I think it's their Impeccable line. Just straight acrylic yarn from Michaels. Just thought I'd toss it on today for the old podcast. Nothing fancy, just a knit cap, knit beanie. You know how it goes. It's all good. I did buy Summer Lee. You know Summer Lee. I've talked about Summer Lee before. She wrote the Sock Project book. She has the Summer Lee knitting podcast. But she released a hat pattern set that is done with like fingering weight and DK yarn, and they're really cool. They're stripy and fun and everything like that. So I bought the pattern set. There's there's 3 hat patterns and 1 headband pattern. And it's a really good deal. So I bought that pack, and I think come fall, I might start, you know, knitting maybe some scrappy hats with all these sock leftovers that I have, because they're building up fast. And I've never really, I considered knitting Kay Jones's jelly roll blanket with my scraps, but I just can't commit to a blanket. But maybe I can commit to some scrappy socks or a scrappy hat, you know, or something like that. So we'll see. But yeah, check out the Summer Lee's patterns. I'll link to them down below. Fun patterns. And watch her video, because at the end she does a photo shoot with her husband and her kids. It's just a lot of fun. What a great family. Okay, do we want to get to new yarn that I got in the mail or a failed pattern? Let's do a failed pattern first. All right, so many of the patterns that I knit over the last 2 weeks, I just ended up frogging. I wasn't going to keep everything on the needles for the sake of the podcast. You know, but it is what it is. But I did keep these on the needles because I thought everything was going great with these. This is the rye pattern from Tin Can Knits. It is just a simple stockinette stitch all the way around, but then there's this garter panel in the front. And I thought that might be, you know, that's nice just to break things up. The yarn is Hobie again. I can't remember. It's Dolce Dots or something like that. If you go to the Hobie, I'll link to it below, but if you go to the Hobie website, it's Dolce Dots or something like that. They got some different colors. I knit a pair for my wife in like a pink color, and I got this gray for me. But anyways, this is the pattern from Tin Can Knits, Rye Socks. Nothing wrong with the pattern. I actually love the pattern. But in my desire to continue to try new things, I decided to knit the Fish Lips Kiss heel because I've heard so many things about this heel. Some good, some bad. So I wanted to see for myself what it was like. It's just a short row heel. But the way the pattern is written and the way it's constructed, it just seemed very interesting to me. So I got the pattern. Pattern's like 16 pages long. But I know a lot of people complain that the pattern is too long. But really, a lot of the time is spent explaining the construction of the heel, how to measure your foot, how to measure your heel. The actual pattern itself is maybe 2 pages. It's not a lot, you know, so once you get into it, it's pretty easy to understand. But for me, I encountered a problem in the sense that on short row heels, you knit one side, purl the other. Anybody that knows a short row heel knows what I'm talking about. You sort of twin your stitches, knit the twin stitches on the right side of your work, purl the twin stitches on the wrong side of your work, back and forth you go till you build this heel and construct it, and everything looks great. I've done the shadow wrap heel. I showed that, I think, last episode, and it worked great. It was fantastic. And I think maybe because that has twin stitches and triplet stitches, there's just a little bit firmer construction to it. I knit this Fish Lips Kiss heel. Man, what a mouthful that is to say, eh? The fish heel. I'm just going to refer to it as the fish heel from now on. I knit the fish heel, and I'll see if you guys can see this. On the knit side, it's not bad. You can kind of see here, the knit side holds together pretty well. All right? And when I try it on my foot, it looks okay. But then when you come to the purl side of the heel, it is so, I don't know if you can see my flesh through there. It is so stretchy and so holy that in my head, there is no way that kind of heel is going to stand up to some wear and tear. Now, this could be my own fault. Because of the needle sizes, I'm knitting on a 3mm, so obviously the stitches and everything is going to be bigger. But come on, I mean, look at those holes. You know, like, look at that. And I'm a tight knitter. So it's not that I knit everything loose and just forgot to cinch my stitches close. I just tried that on, and it just seems to me like after a few wears, that's just going to rip. And you know, so it's just like, what do I do with these? I'm probably just going to frog them because I love the pattern. And I'm going to do the pattern again. But maybe smaller needles? Maybe just a heel flap and gusset? Because let me tell you, man, I'm never knitting the fish heel again. And, well, I shouldn't say that, you know, because the pattern is easy to understand. It's a very well-written pattern. It's not the pattern. It could be me, obviously, with this yarn on the 3mm needles. Maybe if I went down to 2.5mm needles, it might be a little, you know, firmer. Obviously, the fabric is going to be a little more dense, so you might not get that stretch. But come on, you know? So, again, this is just another oopsie project that I experienced over the last 2.5 weeks. That's okay. You guys like the pattern? I like the pattern. Somebody asked on Blue Sky that they were hesitant to knit it because they weren't sure of how the gauge difference between the stockinette stitches, and then the garter stitches. Would the garter stitch be too loose and everything? I can tell you no. It is actually a very comfortably fitting sock. When I put this on my foot, it fits well. It's not loose. It doesn't sag. And that's on 3mm needles, 64 stitches around. So, it's a decent pattern. And it doesn't slouch. It doesn't do anything like that. So if you're on the fence about knitting it because of that garter panel, don't be. Just go ahead and get the pattern and knit it up. It's fun. And again, some people again are avoiding it. Somebody also told me, I can't remember their username. I see their picture in my head on Blue Sky, but I can't remember their name. But they told me that they were putting it off because they don't like to purl. They purl enough on bigger stuff that when they do socks, they don't want to think about purling. I'm kind of the same way, or I used to be the same way. Now I don't mind purling so much on my socks. And honestly, out of 64 stitches around, it's only 18 stitches of purling. So it's really not that much, so it's not that bad. But it is a fun pattern. It's great for variegated yarn, so much of variegated yarn, the pattern gets lost in the yarn sometimes. That's why when I have variegated yarn, I usually just do a straight vanilla sock because I know any pattern is going to get lost. But it kind of, maybe in this, it wouldn't be so bad. So anyways, that's that. That's back to the drawing board on this one. And that's okay. I'm going to hang on to that pattern and definitely knit it again. Okay, let me get into new yarn that I got. I got some, I didn't bring everything that I've gotten in the last 2 weeks. I got some books. I got the 52 Weeks of Socks, Volume 1 and Volume 2. I've just kind of loosely glanced at those. I know I'm going to get to those later this year and see what fun they have inside of them. I think actually one of the patterns that I frogged this week was from one of those books. And again, it was my mistake, my fault, not the patterns. I never blame the pattern. It's always pretty much me. Pattern designers, pattern writers, they put a lot of work into doing their stuff. Unless there's a glaring error, I will never blame the pattern. It's always user error for me. So I respect pattern designers and people that make patterns. I myself don't. I have thought about it. And maybe as things progress, I would like to at least try maybe some color work charts, designing some of those. I think that would be fun in terms of a pattern with stitches and slip stitches and knit through the back loops and everything like that. I don't feel I'm that technically savvy to create a pattern like that, at least not now. But I think I could put together a pretty bitchin' color work chart, to do with maybe some horror themes or something like that, things I like. So I'm interested to try that as things progress. So TBD for now. We'll stick a pin in that one. All right, but let's get to new yarn that I got. All right, I got 4 skeins. Oh, wait. I also got this cool sign that I haven't put up yet, but it's fun. Knitting because murder is wrong. And it's a cat knitting. Somebody said they have the same sign. I just found this on Amazon. It's a tin sign. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to put it up here in the back. I got to get rid of this poster up here in the frame. You can see the light glare. I'm sure that's bothering somebody that's watching right now, but so I got to get rid of, there we go. Knitting because murder is wrong. That's true. Murder is wrong. Don't do murder, kids. Oh, speaking of murdering kids, have you watched Adolescence on Netflix? Holy goodness, man. I binged the 4 episodes. What is it, like this past weekend? Good Lord, man. What a story. What a, and it's fiction, but you could easily see something like that happening. This whole incel culture, social media bullying. Oh my God, if you haven't watched it, it's a British series. Only 4 episodes. Each one's about an hour long. Each one is shot with one continuous take, meaning there's no cutaways. So you're always following the characters with one shot as they go around. And, I got to read some interviews with the director and with creator Stephen, I can't remember his name, Stephen Graham. And wow, just amazing. Check it out on Netflix, Adolescence, so good. Yeah, don't do murder, especially if you're a kid. Okay, let's get into some new yarn. West Yorkshire Spinners, who we love. This is their signature sparkle. This is Nutcracker. Can you see the sparkles in there? Look at that. You can. Can you see that? Look at that sparkly yarn. That's going to be fun to knit up come Christmas time. I've only knit one pair of sparkly socks before, and they were kind of fun. So I figure I love West Yorkshire Spinners now, so let's try their signature sparkle line. And look at that. That's fun. This is, the Nutcracker. So that's one that I got. This one I got on clearance. Again, I buy all my yarn. Most time, I buy it all from Simply Socks Yarn Company. So Simply Socks, I want to say simplysocks.com, whatever. It's always down below in the links. This one was on clearance at Simply Socks. It's again, Regia, and it is just denim. It is the denim colorway that was on clearance because nobody likes denim, I guess. But yeah, it's just a straight, simple, kind of denim-y colorway, which is kind of nice. I could see these being knit with the rye sock pattern from Tin Can Knits. I think that would be pretty cool. So yeah, I got this on clearance. I can't remember. It was I think it was maybe like $5. How can you pass that up, So I got the Regia. Nobody's actually really told me what it is yet, so we're just going with Regia. Oh, look. Some more Regia. This is from the Arnie and Carlos design line, which we love. I talked about them last week. Arnie and Carlos remind me so much of Frog and Toad. I love those guys. But this is from their design. Does it have a name on the colorway? I can't remember the name of the colorway, of course. I'm so bad. You know what? I don't even think I could read it anyway. Color 03655. That's the colorway. I'll put a link down below. But honestly, that's fun. There, you can kind of see what that's going to knit up like. I see people do this all the time. They put their hand in front. You got to block it out. Can you see that? Can you see that? That's the sock it's going to be. But that's fun. All right. Another West Yorkshire Spinners. I'm loving their birds line, man. I got I've knit the robin for myself. I have a skein of the owl to knit for my friend Michaela. And I got another skein. This is the swallow colorway. That is beautiful. I think that is going to make a nice pair of socks for me, myself, or I. Maybe somebody else. I don't know. Probably me, myself, and I. But I do like that colorway. That's such a nice, fun colorway. And I love the way these bird theme socks, I love the way they knit up. I love the way they look on the website, how they're all knit up in nice, cool patterns. So I'm looking forward to making those. So yeah, that was 4 skeins of yarn that I just showed you in quick succession. That's a TV show I never watched, was Succession. Okay, finally, I told you that I was getting some more Opal yarn, but this is 6-ply. This is DK weight Opal yarn, and this is fun. I started knitting this last night just because I got sick and tired of casting on, frogging. I needed something quick, a quick fix. So I cast on this DK weight yarn. This is from Opal. I forgot to bring the band with me, of course, but this is from their Rainforest line. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at those colors, how they sort of blend together, fade away. But this is DK yarn. And 1 skein is enough for 1 large pair of socks. So you don't have to buy, I think this is like $22. And you get a pair of socks out of it. And this is what I have so far. Like I said, I started knitting these last night, But because the couch came today and everything, I'm not as far ahead as I would have liked. But still, that's some pretty big progress. I'll probably have one of these done in no time. And it's a DK weight sock, so it is a little chunkier. It is a little, thicker, warmer. I've mentioned before how I love to wear my knit socks in the summertime. No problems with that. This one, definitely not. This one's going in a box for fall because this is DK and it's thick and it's warm. But it's so fun. Look at that. I knit the cuff, just a 10-row cuff on, I want to say 3mm needles. And then I switched to 3.5 circulars for the body. And I'll do that all the way through with the heel flap and gussets and everything like that. But it's only 54 stitches for the large size because it is DK. So you're not knitting nearly as many stitches. So obviously it's going to go faster. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. I really like those colors. Yeah. Once again, it's from the Rainforest line. There is a specific name for this colorway when it's translated to English. I can't remember it now, but again, I'll link to it down below. So there we go. So that is currently what I'm working on right now. So I hope to have at least one of these done, maybe by the end of this weekend coming. Yeah. I mean, today's Wednesday. I still got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, and I'm feeling good about these. Like, I have no plans to just stop and rip these out. Like, I'm feeling good about this sock. So I am going to finish these. Now, let me pick that up. Oh, did you hear that crack? Man, when you get to a certain age, snap, crackle, pop, man, let me tell you. Whew. It's going to be my birthday's in August. How old am I going to be this year? 48. I'm going to be 48 years old this year. Woo, doggy. Whatever. Age is just a number, right? You're only as old as you feel. Let me tell you, man. I'm feeling about 100 these days. I'm just kidding. Oh, it's all good. All right. So we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up now because we're about, 25 minutes into this thing. I do want to try and get another podcast out this coming weekend. So April 6th or 7th, somewhere around there, I want to try and get another podcast done because my good friend Sue, who I've mentioned in the very first episode of the second episode, my good friend Sue goes online by the name Bright Eyed Dyer. She cleaned out her stash of sock yarn. So one man's trash is another man's treasure, and she sent me a package of sock yarn. I have no idea what's in it. So I'm excited to see what's in it. And it was supposed to be here today, but the USPS being what it is, it's probably not going to get here till tomorrow, Thursday, which is fine. I'm debating on keeping it sealed until I can record again so you can see my honest reaction to everything. I don't know if that's going to be if that's going to happen because honestly, when you get new yarn, you just want to tear it open and stuff. One of the skeins, she said she dyed herself because obviously Bright-Eyed Dyer, she used to dye yarn. I don't think she does as much anymore, but I guess the it's called calico, something like that. And I love cats, so I'm looking forward to seeing what this looks like. So I have that coming. So I want to do another podcast episode with just sort of a reveal of all the things my good friend Sue sent me in the mail. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll probably just give I'll give a progress update on this, and we'll talk about. I know the last time I mentioned that I'd go through the sock construction, what stitches you're going to learn and, need to know before you knit your first sock. I'm going to get to that next episode. Because it's been 2.5 weeks, I just kind of wanted to sit down kind of on the fly, just record an episode just to get it out. So you guys know I'm not dead. I didn't fall again and concuss myself. I'm still alive. It's just been 2 weeks, so it's all good. I appreciate your patience, guys. And I really appreciate your support too. We're up to like 72 subscribers on this channel on the Sock Drawer Knitting Podcast. That's crazy. And that's awesome. And I love the comments that I'm getting every week. It's so much fun to see, how this podcast is helping people, and they can relate to it and things like that. It's just fun to see because that's kind of what this is all about. Just just having a chat with some fellow knitters, maybe helping some people along the way. I'm not here to give knitting advice or, say this thing is wrong or this thing is right. Because again, who the hell am I, right? I'm just James the sock knitting guy. You'll find no bullshit here. It's all good, guys. All right. I'm going to sign off now, but look for another episode soon, at least within the next week, okay? I promise that we'll do a reveal of what my good friend Sue sent me, and I do have some more stuff on the way from Simply Sock. I seem to order stuff from them every time I get paid, whether it be one skein, two skein, whatever, and just building it up, whatever. I have some stuff on the way. One of them is an acrylic wool nylon blend, which I've never knit with before. I've never knit with that kind of blend. Usually the socks are just wool and nylon blend. We're superwash merino and 75-25 blend. Now we're throwing some acrylic into the mix for maybe summer. Maybe they'll be I have no idea, but I'm interested. They were new to the shop and they were pretty reasonably priced. So I'll talk about those next time as well. Well, maybe not next time. Maybe whatever. They probably won't be here till next week. I want to have another podcast out before then, so we'll talk about that. Anyways, guys, I am James the Sock Knitting Guy. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all the time you spent sitting here listening to me ramble on. I love you guys so much. Thank you for the support. Check out all the links below. Follow me on Blue Sky. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, blah, 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 blah. You know the drill. Awesome, guys. Happy knitting, and I'll talk to you soon, okay? Promise.